Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Ozzy Osbourne, the Prince of Darkness. Okay.
What do you do to relax?
Smoke marijuana.
You were joking when you said that, of course.
Yeah, right.
What's this? It's not for real, is it? All right, go.
You have a tour starting tomorrow. Is it always like this, or is this an exception?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
Come on! Come on!
Yeah.
Black Sabbath, we all ended up junkies and alcoholics and everything. Like the drummer ended up in a rehabilitation centre. I did for a while, and in the end, disaster happens. It's inevitable to happen, disaster, because it's like drugs. They were okay at the time, but we outgrew them. You know, we just we took LSD, we took cocaine, we took vast amounts of marijuana. It was fun at the time, but then we all just sort of. So it's not a very good idea anymore.
So you have a more stable life now?
No.
Hi, darling.
Someone has been in my room and taken my beers away from my room.
I don't think so, darling. Who would do that? Who could possibly do that? Who's the beer thief? You. You're the beer thief.
Called the magic plane. I think somebody got. I mean, it's all to do with this drugs and alcohol rehabilitation. I think someone's still taking drugs and alcohol somewhere.
Not on this bus.
No, not on this boat.
No, this
is clean. I'm clean for once. Isn't that nice?
Have you guys met anybody that you hadn't met yet in rock and roll that are on, let's call it the plane from now on?
No.
No?
No.
You're familiar with everybody here?
No, most of them, yeah. I've seen them all. I think I'm related to a few of them.
Hi, Night Flight fans. We're talking with the one and only Ozzy Osbourne. Good evening, Ozzy.
What?
Good evening, Ozzy.
Hello there.
How are you?
Fine.
People have got it all wrong about alcohol and drugs. It's not, when just saying no, that's dumb.
You can't. First of all, it doesn't work.
It don't work, though. If it's just...
For the past 40 years, I've been loaded on booze, coke, acid, quaaludes, glue, cough syrup, heroin, Rohypnol, Klonopin, Vicodin, and too many other heavy-duty substances to list. On more than a few occasions, I was on all of those at the same time. So my first question, obvious one, how are you alive?
I don't know, it's a miracle. Miracle to that.
Are you sober now?
No, yeah. I'm never, I have moments.
Hey, Geezer, what is it like? What you guys know how hard it is to put together a band and actually have it work and actually make a career. What is it like when you're front man? You guys finally are making it. You're big. The money's rolling in. The chicks, the drugs, the whole thing. And then the front man decides to leave. Did you want to kill Ozzy and say, fucking Ozzy, what are you doing?
I was doing a good job doing that myself.
You were killing yourself. But seriously, Geezer, your whole life falls apart, right?
Yeah, but the whole band was falling apart at that. Is it back in the 70s? This was, yeah. And
what was making it fall apart? The drugs?
Yeah, it was mainly the drugs, but we were managing ourselves because we'd been ripped off horribly in the 70s, and we were trying to produce our own albums and trying to do everything ourselves, and it's just absolutely impossible.
When you manage yourself, there is no way as a band that can work out.
You just can't do it because everybody's got different opinions of what you're supposed to be doing. None of us were business-wise.
No, God knows.
And when we were getting out of the first manager, we went to the lawyers. And they started ripping us off. So,
oh, my God. Who can you trust?
And
well,
then-
Ozzy, that's why, I mean, you had Sharon. You could at least
Oh,
trust
yeah, I mean,
her.
if it wasn't for Sharon, I'd have been dead years ago.
Geezer said Ozzy would have died if Black Sabbath stayed together.
Absolutely.
But why? Why blame Black Sabbath for you?
Well, I'm not
potentially-
blaming Black Sabbath. It was like, when we first did our first albums, it was great fun. We thought everybody was honest, and found out we were getting ripped off. Then we went to a lawyer, and they were ripping us off. And I was drinking more and doing drugs more.
When you first met, were you guys all clean? Like when you first
Used to
started out?
smoke dope a bit.
Yeah, right. Like it wasn't a big drug scene. It was
Well, no.
music was your drug.
we couldn't afford it back then. I
Yeah.
mean, 5 Bob Doyle that we used to call them, which
Yeah.
is like a bit of hash about 1/4 of an inch big. That's all we could afford every week.
It's true in a way. The money and the fame just kind of leads you to
Yeah,
that.
it's like if you're broke and somebody gives you $100 bill, you've never seen one before. You think you're rich, but when you find out the manager's got 10,000 times more.
Yeah,
Yeah,
isn't that crazy?
I remember one day I was driving down my VW Beetle. I thought there's something wrong with his picture. How come that asshole of a manager? He's driving a Rolls Royce and I'm in a fucking Beetle.
Yeah. Why are you driving a Volkswagen? And
I
you're
can't
the
drive it.
star. It's just crazy.
And the worst part was when we got the tax bill for it.
Oh, God. You guys were wiped out, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
completely.
We were wiped out before we got the fucking tax bill.
You know what's so beautiful about? We were talking about you guys before, earlier in the morning, and you talk about early Black Sabbath. It was such a beauty to the record business and making music. You guys went into a studio on your first album for 2 days and came out with that album.
Yeah.
First album, 2 days.
I wish
No
we
one
could
does that
I
now.
wish we could do that now.
Yeah, but why can't you?
Because really, that first album was more like a live album with no audience because we'd been writing and we'd been mixing that in our set, our gigs when we could get a gig.
Isn't that the beauty of youth? I mean, it's like you're a young guy.
Oh, you got everything to gain and nothing to lose. I mean,
Right. You have nothing to lose. That's the problem. Even making a new Black Sabbath album, everyone's like, oh, God, Black Sabbath's getting back together. It's too much fucking pressure. It's not like just go make some music and have a good time.
Well, I mean, we've done, between us, we must have done about fucking 15, 20 albums over the years.
So you hired Rick Rubin to be the producer of the album, right?
Yeah.
Rick said when he brought you guys back in the studio, he made you listen to your first album.
Yeah.
And, and probably you were resistant to that. I said to Robin, can you imagine if somebody forced us into a room to listen to our first radio show or something like that? Like, probably at first you were like, hey, fuck you, I'm not going to do this, right?
No, it was weird at first because it's the first time the 4 of us had sat down in the same room together and listened to the first album. We probably hadn't done that since we recorded it.
Was it hard to sit still while you were listening?
Yes, but we were thinking, why is he playing this album?
Did it make sense to you?
It did eventually, yeah. Not at the time, because he said, forget heavy metal, this album isn't heavy metal, so this was before heavy metal. So listen to what you used to play before metal.
And Ozzy, did you think Rick was insane?
I didn't know what he was getting at. I mean, we've all done like 500 albums since the first one.
I mean, it's sort of ballsy of him to say, I want you to sit there and listen.
I didn't understand what he was getting at, but we originally were a jazz blues band.
Right.
And we started writing along the way, but we still had our blues roots,
Yeah.
So that's what he was getting at, the feel of it.
So you admire what he did?
Yeah.
And then he sat you down and he told Ozzy, I don't want you singing anything with the lyrics happy.
Yeah, that's right.
Or glad.
I had to change it to I'm a happy, isolated man to a crazy, isolated man.
Yeah, because he's right. Black Sabbath does not say happy.
I know.
Nothing happy going on in Black Sabbath. Was he right, Geezer, to say that to Ozzy?
Yeah.
He was?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
But when a guy says to you, you can't sing the words happy or glad, I mean, if that's where Black Sabbath's at, then Black Sabbath's at that.
Yeah, but I get what he's saying. He wanted to go back to the right, the roots,
You should have said, hey, fucking shave your beard off. I got
A rock and roll legend. As a founding member of Black Sabbath, he's a Grammy Award winner, and he has sold, get this, over 35 million records. His latest CD is entitled The Ozman Cometh. Let the madness begin. It's Ozzy Osbourne.
Guess they know me, huh?
Yeah. This happens for most our guests, yeah. They go crazy, yeah. When we had Leo Sayer on the show, they just went crazy. How are you?
I'm all right. I just flew in from L.A.
Yeah. You were supposed to be on, just to clarify, we announced you were going to come on last Wednesday, but you didn't come.
I had this thing called gastroenteritis, which is a wonderful thing to have around this time of the year. Now, would you believe we're ready to go home? My son has it.
Oh, really? What are these side effects of this this disease?
Well, it's a very smelly disease. Really, you don't.
Should I ask more?
You don't want to go on a date when you got this problem, really, because you won't last very long.
Really? But you're feeling well now.
Yeah. Hold on, one sec. Yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling real.
Oh, Ozzy.
I thought I'd blow you a kiss.
In all the 5 years that I've been doing this show, I never thought I'd say, oh, Ozzy. There's so much to talk about, so much in your past that I want to get straight. First of all, you're famous, in addition to the music, for your stage antics.
Oh, yeah.
Your wild stage antics. And I found out recently that many of these crazy stage antics were your wife's idea. Is that right?
Most of these crazy stage antics are my wife's idea.
Like, what kinds of ideas did she have?
Well,
are you just going to repeat everything I've said?
Well,
that's your coping mechanism, isn't it, Ozzy? Yes, that is my coping mechanism.
I feel like I'm at my therapist right now.
I can help you, Ozzy. We're here to help.
Help me.
All right, so...
well, for instance, one time in the early 80s, when it was all this gothic thing, you know, this like gothic stage sets and whatever. Did
you just discover your hand? What is...
No, well, actually, I was shoplifting.
You were talking and you were like, oh, look. But so they had this whole gothic thing, and what happened?
I was looking at my finger, actually. So my wife comes up with this idea. She said, Ozzy, I've got this great idea of you coming out in this big, giant hand. I said, what do you mean? She said, we'll push, at the end of the show, we'll push this big, giant hand. It's like that, and you sit in the middle of the hand, and the fingers are all got pyro flames in it, right? Mm-hmm. And there's this big slingshot at the back with about 5 or 10 pounds of offal in the back. And I said...
Offal? I mean, what? Yeah, meat?
Like meat, testicles, and penises, and...
What, like animal testicles?
Well, not human testicles.
Yeah, you wouldn't do that, because that would be absurd, yeah.
Leo Sayer went on that.
So you have, you got this mechanical hand, you're in the middle of it.
I'm in the middle, and at the back is this sling with all these balls and everything.
Okay.
You know, all these goos and what.
Sure, yeah.
Now, she says, when the pyro fingers explode, you've got to press this button and all this offal will fly into the audience. Oh, great, honey.
You're going to throw these testicles at the audience?
Yeah, well, but we were going down badly, you know.
Okay, so what happens?
So what happened? Unbeknownst to me, this rubber band had been taught from 2 o'clock in the afternoon until about 11 o'clock in the evening. So I come for my big finale, and I go like this, and I push the thing, and it goes... slap! Now I'm standing there like the Prince of Darkness with all these gothic girls and all this blood and snot and crap. And I just went, good night, folks.
Oh! I've done anything to see that. What are we on? You know, let's take a commercial break, because I have so much to ask that I want more time. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back. More with Ozzy Osbourne in just a second. Sitting here with Ozzy Osbourne. You really started this whole business of being a big enemy of the religious right, didn't you?
Oh, yeah, I mean, I gave them a reason to be, you know. I mean, they used to follow me around everywhere, especially, mainly in America, though, nowhere else in the world.
You'd come to America on a tour, and they would seek you out. They would want to...
They'd follow me in my bus, I'd hang at my hotel room. But most of them didn't even know what I looked like, you know.
Mm-hmm. You once had a confrontation with someone, right?
A really weird story. I was doing a show down in Texas, and there'd been this evangelist guy that was trying to ban the show, you know. So I'd got there about 6 in the morning, and I'd got a bad throat because I've been on a bit of a bender for the last week or two. And
No.
That was when I used to do that, but I don't do that anymore.
Right, right.
And it's really water. And I got down at 7. I used to have this bodyguard that was an ex-Vietnam vet. It was crazy. Anyway, if you saw
He was your bodyguard, a crazy Vietnam vet?
This guy was like... I didn't know that at the time. Most of the time when I had a bodyguard, if they didn't kill anybody every 3 weeks, they didn't think they were doing their job, and I'd go, no violence, you know. It was like having a dog, sit, boy. And so we get into this hotel, and I said to this guy, Larry, I said, Larry, go and get me a doctor. I want a doctor for around 12 o'clock, you know.
A doctor, okay.
A throat doctor. So I got up, went to bed at about 7, and I got up about 11, and went downstairs to the coffee shop, and I said to this Larry, go and tell the guy at the reception that when the ear, nose and throat guy comes, I'll be in the coffee shop. Now, unbeknown to me, the coffee shop had been staked out with all these evangelists. So I'm sitting in the coffee shop drinking coffee, and these crazy Vietnam.
I like the idea of you walking into a Texas coffee shop.
I always like, that was a movie there somewhere. You come here, boy.
Yeah. And so you're having your coffee.
I'm sitting there having my coffee, and this guy's like keeping guard like a good terrier, you know. And this guy comes over to me, and he's got a smart suit and a jacket on and a tie and whatever. And he goes, are you Mr. Ozzy Osbourne? I think he's a doctor. And I go, oh, yeah. And he goes, put Jesus in front of you. And they all start jumping on me because he's been... And I'm like thinking, my God, what's going on? It comes as a show. All these people are strategically planning it.
Sure.
Like attacking me, and this guy turns into Rambo, starts throwing them through all the walls and breaking chairs. And I'm going, Larry, no, don't kill. We don't kill today.
We don't kill today. That's the... Maybe tomorrow we kill, but not today. Now, it's hard for me to believe, but a couple of years ago, you retired. Why did you retire?
Well, I'm one of these people that always says things that I later regret, you know. Like people say to me, oh, is there going to be a reformation of the original Black Sabbath? I go, let's wait and see, because if I go, yeah, it won't happen. If I go, no, it will happen.
Right.
So my wife said at the beginning of the one, too, well, what do you want to do after these 2 hours? I said, retire. So I thought, great, I got breath in my lungs, I can still see, I don't need a walking stick yet, and I haven't got a colostomy bag quite yet.
You could have stopped at the other examples, Ozzy.
You know, I like to get graphic.
Fine with the other examples.
I like to get very graphic.
Yeah, we heard that, yeah. And so what did you do in your spare? Did you go fishing?
Well, that lasted for all the tackle. Went fishing.
How do you fish? What do you like when you go fishing?
If I don't catch a fish in the first 3 minutes, dynamite goes in there.
Dynamite goes in the water?
I guarantee to catch a fish.
Yeah, you're going to get fish pieces, yeah. You throw dynamite in the water?
Yeah, it explodes, and they all come to the top, and you haven't got to sit there like an idiot for all day.
I'd like to see your episode of Good Fisherman.
I've got loads of good trophies on the wall. They've all got holes in them.
You're also, I wanted to ask you something. You're a Victorian art collector.
Yeah, I collect Victorian. The reason why I collect Victorian women, because they look like women. Now, in this, I don't know whether I'm old-fashioned or what, but women, the models today look like they need a good sandwich, you know.
They do, most of them.
I mean, I don't know about any of the audience, but I have a daughter of 14. She won't eat, you know. She's like a lath, and I'm trying to sneak potato chips when she's asleep, you know.
If I woke up in the middle of the night and Ozzy Osbourne was trying to put a chip in my mouth...
Well, I've got one in my head, you know.
I wanted to finally ask you, because we're running tight on time, but did you go and see the movie Spinal Tap?
Well, yeah.
And what did you think of it?
Well, funny thing about Spinal Tap, when I went to see it, I was the only person in the audience that wasn't laughing, because it really was like a documentary. Because those things actually happened. I mean, everybody was going, oh, number 11, that happened. That happened. When they got lost going to the stage, that happened.
No! You got lost going to the stage?
Oh, I mean, I'm the practical joker. When you go into these big shows, and it's got so-and-so, so-and-so, this one, they've got gapper tape arrows,
right.
and I'm always...
To show you which way to go.
I'm always changing the arrows around, you know. So end up back in the foyer going, well, where's the seats,
So you're sitting there, everyone's laughing, you're thinking...
I'm going, look at this jerk here, the rock star of the year with his entourage of 9,000 people, and he's ended up back in the car park.
The Ozman Cometh, I want to mention this. This is in stores now.
Yeah.
And available everywhere. A great stocking stuffer for the holidays, don't you think?
Yes, folks.
It's Ozzy Osbourne, Corporate Chill. Hey, Ozzy, thanks so much for coming. Ozzy Osbourne, everybody.